Hello, everybody. My name is Jacob Davelaar. I'm with Legacy Wealth Management. This is the Money Matters podcast. Today, I have with me Jack Hudson, who is with Applied Capital. He's a financial advisor. He has tons of experience, expertise, and today we're going to hear about who Jack is, who he serves, what problems he solves, and a little bit about just who he is and why you might want to work with him. So, Jack. With that, I want to start and hear about your financial services experience. Where did you start? How long did you go with that business? What led you to Applied Capital? Just give some background there.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me on the show. Appreciate it. Um, I came out of college and jumped right into the financial services industry. Went to Northwestern, was there for a couple of years and realized that that wasn't the model that I wanted to pursue. And met my partner, Tim Cantrell, at Northwestern. And we started working together there, and then quickly realized that we needed to do something else. So we looked around in the industry, looked at the different options, and decided to start our own independent RIA. And
Nice.
so we jumped off and classic, working out of the garage story, we started 10 years ago. So it was
Yeah,
jumped off in 2015 and have been doing this ever since.
that's
So
great. I want to ask you what at you know I've heard this story before, not just Northwestern Mutual, but other kind of big, wirehouse types of companies. What did you see there that you were like, hey, I don't know if I like this? And on the flip side of that, with you and your partner, what was the vision for what you wanted to do, what you wanted to be known for, and how you wanted to do business?
yeah, that's a great question. Once you get into the industry, kind of get into the weeds, learn how the sausage is made, so to speak, um, you realize that there's some things that are a little rosier when they were painted to you, when the picture was painted originally, than they actually are. And um, with Northwestern in particular, it was sold as a financial planning firm, but really it was a very heavy focus on selling insurance, um, and doing so at the expense of the client in some cases. Just a lot of the whole life policies. Once you pick those apart, I just really didn't agree with it. Um, that wasn't the right fit for the client, and trying to sell those to somebody who really doesn't need it, just buy them a term policy that does the same thing. And it's really based off of the commission that the advisor receives. And that just didn't sit right with me. So really wanted to, when we jumped off, wanted to figure out a way where the first question we asked was, is this in the best interest of the client? And doing it
Great.
the independent RA model seemed like it was the best interest of the client. And then we could build something from there.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I work for an RIA as well, and I saw on your LinkedIn that you have a securities license Series 65, which is what I also carry, which it means we're a fee only advisory firm. We don't take any commissions. It's a fixed fee. I don't know if you guys tier it based off how much you have of assets under management, but it is a model where you can truly be a fiduciary. And
Right.
I hear you saying that, and I hear you saying, life insurance, which people should have. It is important. There's no question,
Exactly. It is
and
important.
it is important. You need it, but what you were being asked to do early in your career was maybe more transactional, and where you wanted to go, where you are now, is more relational. And so I want to hear more about that relationship aspect. Being a fee only, you're in it for the long haul with your clients.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And originally when I came out of school, I thought I wanted to be a teacher. I, wasn't going to be in the financial services industry at all. But what really attracted me to being a teacher was having that one-to-one or one-to-few relationship and seeing people grow. And so, I wanted that, um, but wasn't excited about the prospect of teacher pay. Um, ironically, I probably would have gotten paid a lot more as a teacher early on in my career, but I like that aspect of being able to grow with people over time and having a relationship where you're coming back to them over and over year after year makes a lot of sense. And that you're exactly right. The insurance business is very transactional.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a relational kind of business, but it's really not.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough. And I actually used to be a substitute teacher myself
Oh, really?
years ago. Yeah. Yeah. So for middle school and high school students, and I'm a coach, basketball coach now. And I wanted to ask you because, in my business, teaching people, educating people, your clients, is part of the practice, right? And
It
I'm
very
sure
much is.
I'm
Yeah.
sure that's part of you as well. Like, what are some instances with your clients where you're in a posture of teaching and serving them? Do they feel like they're having a better understanding of their investments because of your teaching hat that you put on?
Yeah, absolutely. And really, one of the big areas where we try to do a lot of teaching, and it's very complex, is the tax code.
Yeah.
We do a lot of tax planning in our business, and as you know, the IRS tax code is like a million pages long. So trying to break down all the different things that are going on for clients and seeing what tools we can implement to really drive down that lifetime tax bill
Mm,
is a really good teaching hat for us for me in particular. I love being able to do that and being able to boil down complex issues into something that's bite sized and people can remember is is really rewarding. Um,
yeah,
so
absolutely. Because taxes can be one of the most no one likes them. I've heard people say, "Oh, you just got to pay them. That's what you do." And it's like, well, there's ways where you could pay less. People don't know they have the
right,
option. In terms of just what's out there and the education. And I love that
yeah.
you lead with that, man. That's so great. So, would you say that most of your clients come to you because they have a tax problem in particular, or they come to you just because they need general advice or they want to be educated? Is it all of the above? Who comes to Applied Capital?
Yeah, I feel like we do our best work with clients who want to have tax planning done. We serve everybody. We don't actually don't have a minimum,
Nice.
but we do our best work when we have uh, clients that want to do tax planning. And typically, what that looks like are they kind of fall into two main categories: is one, clients who are about to retire or just retired, but are not taking Social Security or RMDs yet. There's a lot of tools in our planning tool belt that we can utilize in that window. And so that's one kind of area where we can really help out. And the second one are business owners who are 1099 and don't have any employees. So the options that are available to that particular employee or that particular business owner is immense because they have essentially the whole world of options available to them. So usually what that looks like is implementing an individual 401k. A lot of people don't know that they can do that. Implementing an individual Roth 401k, or if the scenarios are right, and we've done this with a couple of clients, is pairing that individual 401k with a defined benefit plan. And you
Yeah.
can really, I mean, you talk about driving down your taxable income and what you're paying to the government. Doing that in those unique scenarios really helps. We had a
Yeah.
client come to us who was that fit that 1099 profile, um, and he was originally contributing money to a SEP. And we said, okay, well, you can do that. That's great. That's one option. Let's look at an individual 401k as another option. And then option C would be, pairing those two together, the individual 401k and the DB plan, and saved him like 60 grand in the first year in taxes.
Oh, my word.
And so
Yeah.
when you have that kind of relationship, that kind of impact with clients, they're
Oh,
very grateful, and that's just it's so nice to be a part of that and to be able to teach people like, hey, there's another way, and
yeah.
have that see like a really tangible benefit early on.
Absolutely. And the trust and the loyalty that can come from that. Holy cow, Jack just
Yeah.
saved me 60 grand in my taxes. I had no idea I could do this. I mean, how many other business owners is that business owner going to share that story with? And how many people are going to
Yeah.
hear this this podcast and say, wow, I need Jack's number. I gotta get in front of him because that stuff, wealth building, it's not just about building the wealth, it's about keeping it from
Exactly.
the government. We're not anti-government, but well, we don't have to get there with all of that. But if you can pay the least amount in taxes as possible, with under the law, of course, that's a huge, huge leg up. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's a powerful story. Thank you for sharing that, man. That's good stuff. So I wanted to ask you a little bit just about yourself. Just who is Jack? I mean, where are you I don't even know if we asked where you're from. I know where you're from because we've talked. What do you like to do outside of work? What are some things that people should know about you as a person?
Yeah. Um, I am a native Nashvilleian. And if you're moving to Nashville or from Nashville, you know that there's not a lot of us. It seems like everybody is moving into Nashville. So growing up here my whole life, and went to college at Miami of Ohio, came back. My wife chased me here. So we have been married for 10 years, have three beautiful kids, um, 6, 4, and 2. And so that takes up a lot of my time. But just gosh, being a husband and a dad is just fantastic. I love it so much.
It's great.
So that's one part, and then kind of what I do for fun is I do like to golf. I don't get around to it a lot, but I'm starting to teach my 6-year-old and 4-year-old, so I'm using that as an
There you
opportunity to
go. Yep, there you
drag them out
go.
there, swing the sticks a little bit.
Yep.
Um, and then I have a smoker that I really like experimenting with different cuts of meat and everything like
Good for
that.
you,
So
man. That's great. Well, I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old myself.
there
So
you go,
yeah,
playing
man, I
zone
get that.
defense with me.
Yeah, oh man, it's a different game for sure. And I've been told like, yeah, you just, whatever your hobbies are, teach it to your kids, then you can do it with your
Yeah.
kids. I hear you doing that, and that's way to go. That's really smart. So my 4-year-old is kind of starting to get there, but yeah, that's great, man. I love that. That's, you know, those life experiences of having a family, being a dad, it makes you relatable, and it makes you somebody who's approachable, touchable, and that's really important to have that human side into this business. I want to ask you kind of my second to last question as we wrap up. What, in your opinion, on a human touch side, gives you a leg up versus somebody who's just a number cruncher? Because I know I can tell that you have both of those skills, but how important to you is that human touch and relationship side with your clients?
Oh, it's incredibly important. I mean, when people think of financial planning and just finances in general, they automatically go to numbers. But realistically, I joke with Tim all the time, like we should have gotten our degree in psychology because there's so much emotion that is tied to money. And you really have to be able to unpack that and understand where a client's coming from.
Yeah.
And so, one of the things that I like to ask my clients is, what's your earliest memory of money?
Mm.
And so it brings them back to that childhood experience and kind of exploring what it was like growing up with money, and everybody is so different. And even if you think you know what somebody's experience is like, actually asking them that, and having them reveal that, it's been really interesting to hear because
Yeah.
it could be completely different from your preconceived notions. And that really helps me understand where the client is coming from, and why they might have certain hesitations or reservations around some things, and be able to speak to that directly.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a fantastic answer. I mean, just to support you in that answer, if people feel known and they feel understood by you, that trust is going to be built. And it really takes a team to have a financial plan and to hold accountable and to
Yeah.
moderate, the behavioral sciences of it all with finances, and whether you came from money or your first memory of money was, we can't afford that, we have to pay the bill. You know how what that does to you and your heart as a child. You know, those years are it's so formidable. You know, and you become
Mhm.
an adult, and all of a sudden you have these unconscious, biases of money kind of built into your head. And
Exactly.
yeah, that's fantastic, Jack. Well, as we wrap up here, I want to give you an opportunity to tell people how they can reach you, um, personally, through social media, how they get in touch with Applied Capital. How can these fine people get to know you?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a website, appliedcapital.com. We have two branches. Uh, one's in Nashville and one's in Little Rock. So if you go to appliedcapital.com/Nashville, you'll find our page and you can schedule a consultation directly with me or any other one members of our team. We've got 5 advisors in the office, and we all work as a team anyway. Um, and then we are launching a YouTube channel, Applied Capital Nashville. So if you just search that we're putting out educational content. Back to your point earlier, um,
Yeah.
on different segments and trying to make it digestible. So that's launching as of right now.
That's fantastic. Well, feel free to put this video on that YouTube page. I'm sure, I know I'll watch for sure. I'll be at least one viewer. But
There you
Jack,
go.
man, really, really great to meet you. We should definitely stay in touch. Everyone, please feel free to reach out to Jack, appliedcapital.com. Go see what they have, check them out on YouTube. And thank you for your time, Jack. This concludes the Money Matters podcast, and we'll see you next time.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Of course.